Chop a couple limbs off the legislative branches. We'll show you the difference between air as a human right and guaranteed oxygen access. Octogenarians who barely know what day it is are culling countless citizens while sitting on a dais made of ignorance that was built on the graves of the slaves made to labor for its self-declared significance. And all to build a Congress full of millionaires who make their fortunes insider trading while they shit on all the indigent. So I got a bone to pick with our leaders, and I'll start with the ligaments. Pick right through the muscle, dig the marrow out, and serve it to the unhoused millions living in their minivans or watching their belongings get evicted from their tenement. I have a dream where we breach the walls of Congress and just let them in. And what happens next will survive in only text, cause there won't be any evidence. There will only be that heavy kind of feeling that pervades a space where there has been a reckoning and you can feel its remnants. Let any man who enters seeking power know that those who came before him suffocated on their eminence. That there once was a seal on the wall, but we quartered it and scattered all the pieces that it might prevent its semblance. And so we end the great experiment. We'll take all your billions, leave you 2 coins for the ferryman. Leave you drifting on a Dutchman floating derelict among the wretched seraphim. For holy is the hand that wiped the land clean of those who pose as gentlemen. That's my time, honey, cue the thunderclap and strike the theremin. And so we end the great experiment.
I think I liked it better being blind, when I couldn't read between the lines, and when I couldn't see the cracks in the structure that lay bare before me the whole time. I think I liked it better back when I suspended disbelief and swallowed pride. I thought I knew the difference in the red from the blue, but they both bleed us so dry. They both bleed us so dry.
My favorite songs don't hit the same way. I get to the end of a 4-minute track and I'm only looking back thinking, what did they actually say? So I try to sit down with my wife and watch TV, but I just see propaganda elevating the police in the simplest of sitcom banter, and tiny little altars full of offerings to corporate masters in every well-planned wide pan shot of the name brand stocking up the pantry. Pull back one long tracking shot out to the garage to the logo on the Camry. Nice tight shot of the Camry. Close-up view of the Camry, slow pan up on the Camry, long slow zoom to the unmoving human who is up in the front with the tube pumping fumes to him straight from the back of the Camry. Ashamed he just could not provide for himself, let alone for his family. It's a blue pill mindset that spent 2020 making dance beats.
liked it better being blind, when I couldn't read between the lines, and when I couldn't see the cracks in the structure that lay bare before me the whole time. I think I liked it better back when I suspended disbelief and swallowed pride, and thought I knew the difference in the red from the blue, but they both bleed us so dry. They both bleed us so dry.
Ignorance is bliss, which explains why a lot of us are so fucking happy. Quick to take the trip for all its trappings. Never one to ask what's up, what's going on, or God forbid what's happening. A lot of us would strap into the ride and then spit right in the eye of the guy whose job it is to snap your fastenings. But maybe we're all born with that
Indie left, news and politics and all the rest. So much to do on the YouTube, so they curate a list for you. Do you want to watch your favorite creator, or have a chat on Discord later? Well, you better get hip to Indie Left. Indie Left, IndieLeft.news.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Saturday night. Wow, this is weird. So it's Saturday night, and it is Indy. How are you? How is everybody? There are some really special people in chat I can see already, and I'm so happy that they're here. I'm so happy to have this guest here, who is a dear friend of the network and someone who I've been a deep admirer of for quite a while. They can't see you yet. It's just me so far, but cheers. And so I just want to say hi to everybody. I have my little spiel I want to do and greet everyone before they end up seeing you first, sir. But I wanted to say welcome everyone to Friends of Indie Left. Thank you for checking this out. I thought that this show would be a great way for all of us to learn a little bit more about the people whose work and analysis that we regularly amplify in Independent Left News and Leftist.today and in our Discord server, IndependentLeft.gg. People that we watch every day on YouTube, on Rockfin, on Odysee, on all the platforms. And the idea behind this show, again, is to learn what makes these fantastic people tick. There's a reason why we include their content in our aggregator sites, and we want you to see what we see. And I think a lot of you already do, and some of the people here definitely do. So for episode 5 of Friends of Indie Left, I'm really excited to be joined by a pioneer, a friend of in YouTube news in the lefty space. And I want to give him a proper introduction because there are not many people who have been truly independent that have been running a 5-day-a-week news show for years, consistently, professionally, covering the story of the day, covering politicians from a left perspective, without any corporate influence. And I got to give him a ton of credit, and I'm so glad he's here. So I want to welcome in our friend Kit Cabello, who is the co-host of Hard Lens Media. Welcome to our show. No, please take a shot.
Seeing in the live stream chat a person named Jared R who says, I never get notifications for Hard Lens Media anymore. And I remember even one time when I commented on Jackson Hinkle's live stream, I forget which day it was, but it was a couple of weeks ago, and somebody commented it on there, oh my God, Kit, Hard Lens Media is still around? I thought you guys were done. No, we're still around. It's just YouTube that's silencing and suppressing us. Now, compared to some of our other fellow colleagues, we're still doing good, but I'm still getting messages from people of why have I been unsubscribed? How come I'm not getting any kind of notifications? And Unfortunately, it's out of my control, and that's why I always say on the show, double check and triple check that you're still subscribed. And to everyone watching here, I mean, Heartlands Media didn't go anywhere. We're still live every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Odysee, Rockfin, and now we have a Twitch channel as well. But it's becoming a point to where we're seeing the censorship get out of control. And we've warned about this on our show, as have so many other network shows have said the same thing too. The censorship is getting real, and it shows that independent media has a power, has a voice. And I'm going to say the same thing that I've said on my show, and I'm going to say it here on your live stream. What I want to see is a rise of more citizen journalists in this country, nationwide. I don't care what state you're from. I want to see more citizen journalists. And it's not an easy road to go down. It's most of the time, it's going to be a struggle, but we need to have independent media now more than ever. Let's look at the failure of corporate media. Let's look at some of the recent examples already. Yes, we know about Russiagate. Yes, we know about the failure of WMDs in Iraq, but also let's look at the recent thing as well. The Hunter Biden laptop in 2020, the New York Post, an authoritative source, was silenced and suppressed by both Facebook and Twitter. And anyone, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people here in the live stream chat that tried to share that article about the laptop. Well, they realized they couldn't share it on their Facebook page or their Twitter page.
Yep.
Now, again, we also saw recently too, The Hill was suspended for 7 days on YouTube. The censorship, the algorithm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is very real. And we need independent media and real independent voices, because corporate media is going to fail at it. And already, shout out to all the wonderful people on Twitter that have showed video clips and articles going back from 2014 to 2015 to even 2016 and 2017 and 2018 as well, about the Azov Battalion in Ukraine, where every single media outlet was saying that they are neo-Nazis, but then all of a sudden, oh, surprise, surprise, in 2022, there's just a right-leaning battalion. Nothing wrong to see here. And then all of a sudden, we're seeing the silence and suppression of Sputnik and RT all across the European and North American hemisphere. Everyone, look, Heartlands Media, we're on Rockfin and Odysee. So if you're not subscribed to us on those two platforms or on Twitch, please do so, because it's going to get out of hand. And, you know, when I first started this thing in 2017 with Daniel Lupker, you know, we did this as a response. And I'm pretty sure you got some questions about how we got started, but we did this.
That was right where I was going. You got me nailed.
Well, we saw in 2016. So I mean, if you want to ask that question, go ahead. I mean,
well, yeah, but even before we get there, I want to talk a little bit about like before Hard Lens and how you even got like to the point where you were. Did you know Daniel before then? I know you were in the military. You were ex-military, and how that kind of shaped your political views, and whether that was more through work and after the military that you kind of made that lefty independent turn. I don't know. Again, I don't know very much about you before 2018, 2019, when I started following you, thanks to our friend Mona in the chat, who I did want to give a big shout out to, because she's just amazing. And Mona is the connector. She's the Roger Meadows before there was Roger Meadows. She was dropping super chats left, right, sideways 2 years ago, and she really was the bridge.
Who doesn't love Mona
Carmona?
No, wait. Hold on. Before I start answering your questions, let's give it up for the wonderful, outstanding, incredible, beautiful, stunning, commanding, legendary, mythical Mona Carmona, who has captured all of our hearts, and how envious I am that she has found someone to take care of her as well. Oh my God, Mona,
Sleepy Josh,
we love you so much. So there you go. Yes,
Mona.
I know, Sleepy Josh, that lucky guy. Oh, Mona, but we still love you so much. So there you go. You get so many hearts right there. Everyone in the chat, give a heart to Mona Carmona. But she has been an outstanding voice, and Mona, you have been a strong backbone to the independent media community. You have been a voice of reason. You have been a spokesperson for those that need help. So Mona, we love you so much. Thank you so much for your support. And thank you so much for connecting all of us together. A cheers to Mona Carmona. And if everyone doesn't give a heart to Mona Carmona right now in the chat, well, then I'm gonna have to give you a firm deck in the jaw right now. So there you go. So that is a threat. Cancel me if you must. But that's for Mona because she's the best there is, best there ever will be. No debates, no conversation.
But
so
before Hardlands, you did military, other jobs. I saw that you were doing some interviewing. I saw you with a mic in your hand. I don't know if that was in the field for Hardlands or beforehand. What else did you do before you were doing indie media and you dedicated? And dude, anyone that puts their career and puts their life on the line for this, I give 100% credit to. So
okay,
again,
so
appreciate
let's talk about the origin of Hardlands, but we got to rewind back the clock. So between 2004 and 2008, I served in the United States Marine Corps. My job was Rifleman 0300. I did 2 tours in Iraq. First tour was in Baghdad. The second tour was in this place called Ashraf, which is a story upon itself. But after my 4 years, you know, I wanted to get out and I wanted to expand my education. I wanted to understand the world, maybe understand where I was at too. And I got my education and my political science major degree and my minor in news media and journalism at Northeastern Illinois University. And it was there where I started to realize and look at the fact that we live in a corrupt neoliberal economic system where the Democratic and Republican parties in general have been screwing over working class Americans, no matter what your generation is, the color of your skin, or who you worship. You know, if you're a diehard Republican voter or a diehard Democratic voter, I mean, okay, that's what you feel comfortable with. You're a very good puppet. You're a very good puppet to this neoliberal system. But even to my shame, then I voted Democrat just before the 2016 election, or at least before the general election, because I did support Bernie Sanders in the primary of 2016 and even in the 2020 primary as well. But after that primary, I realized that we were in such a absolute disaster. But before we get to the primary of 2016, because even then, Hardlands Media was just still a dream. I mean, it didn't even come into existence yet. Obviously, I graduated from Northeastern Illinois University in 2013. And for about 10 months of my life, I was unemployed and I was a completely different person than I am now. I was in a very miserable spot and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I applied to like 100 different jobs and the only place that hired me was Costco. So in 2014, I started my job at Costco, and for a minute there, I kind of resigned myself like, oh, this is where it all leads up to. This is my dead end. I got drunk one night, very, very bad. Look, hey, I'm going to be real with you guys, okay? I was in a bad spot, 2014, going early 2015. I was in a really, really bad spot. And I'm going to say 3 letters that might offend or get people upset, but I was watching a live stream of TYT, Young Turks, and they were talking about Wolfpack. And I will remember these words from Cenk Uygur, and I will take these words as my own. But it had to be about Wolfpack and getting money out of politics. And the words he said was, don't be that person who said they wish you could have helped. And I took those words to heart, and I joined Wolfpack. And that's where I met my good friend, Daniel Lupker, and so many other wonderful people, where we actually got, in 1 year, in 2015, the entire Senate of Illinois, Democrat senators in Illinois, and the Democratic House of Representatives in Illinois, including Michael Madigan. And if to your audience, if you don't know who Michael Madigan is, I mean, he was at one point the longest Speaker of the House in any state in American history, but also was an important figure in designing the Illinois Democratic machine,
right?
Which is by far the most corrupt machine to ever exist. And the fact we got Michael Madigan to agree, yeah, hey, let's get money out of politics. It's a miracle upon itself. But we got Senate Joint Resolution passed. But after we got SJR 42 passed, when I came up with the plan of making Illinois Wolfpack to be the hub of helping out our neighboring Midwestern states, Wolfpack kind of thumbs it down.
Oh, they didn't like that
and
idea.
so
huh?
yeah, and I was going through the numbers of just like, okay, I'll just help keep on training new volunteers for Wolfpack. But during the 2016 election cycle, especially during the primary, I was following more about the Bernie Sanders campaign. I was really supportive of it. And my friend Daniel Lupker, who just recently came back from Iowa, supporting a Bernie Sanders rally, reached out to me and said, hey, would you like to be part of this radio program at Q4 Radio? And I said, okay, because in my life as a kid, I remember the early days of the shock jock radio era, and I always kind of wanted to be like one of those commentators, one of those spokespeople on radio, you know. And I remember the days of Howard Stern and Opie Nancy and Mancow and all those other people who were the shock jocks there. But I was never going to kind of go down that era. But I was always like, yeah, I would like to be on radio, you know, do that kind of stuff. And we were on Q4 for radio for a while, and I broke with Wolfpack and eventually was TYT after the New York primary, where I'll never forget this. I was at Walgreens, and we just got done wrapping up a program at Q4 Radio. And this was the night of the New York primary in 2016. And I was watching TYT at the time, and I was moving fast, you know. I was listening to the radio, listening to the show via my headphones as they're talking about the New York primary and how the votes were tallying in, and everything was already looking like BS because there was election fraud.
Because of Brooklyn. I was watching that night too.
Especially for those of you who remember the New York primary.
We were watching that night too. Yep, I was watching.
Yeah. So
you're watching the Brooklyn primary.
Yeah, I'm watching the primary, and again, to anyone that wants to correct me on this, I'll apologize, but this is how I remember it. I'm buying a pizza, frozen, DiGiorno's pizza. I managed to pay it, I'm doing everything with one hand, because I got one hand with the cell phone, pulling out my wallet, pulling out the money, because I wanted to at least get some dinner before everything else happens. I walked to my car. The New York primaries are being called for Clinton. And I'll never forget these words. And again, audience, if you want to correct me on this, I'll apologize, but this is how I'm remembering it. So if I'm getting senile, correct me on it. I remember these words, and I hope I'm wrong, but I remember them because they were etched in my brain. After New York was called for Hillary, I remember the words from Cenk Uygur. Jimmy Dore, who was still a part of TYT at the time, was right there beside him. And Cenk said these words like this: how do we help Hillary Clinton? And I remember Jimmy just kind of turning to the side of Cenk, like, and he gave this look like, what? Like, he didn't say anything. I know Jimmy didn't say anything, but Jimmy looked at Cenk, and I was frozen there for a minute too. Like, what did you just say? Help Hillary Clinton. And then after a while, as TYT was starting to kind of somewhat semi-promote Clinton before the Philadelphia convention, Democratic convention in Philadelphia, I eventually sent in my resignation to Wolfpack, because I felt that was Cenk being the head of Wolfpack and TYT, when you're talking about supporting Hillary Clinton, you are breaking the very principles of what Wolfpack is all about. Clinton is about getting money out of politics. I mean, Clinton is all about money and politics.
Money and politics,
as corrupt as they can get, yeah. And I felt that I was betraying the principles of it. And I'll never forget the words of Donald Trump during the first Republican primary debate, which was the most honest moment in American politics ever, which was, I give these people money and they do what I say. And that, again, Trump said the loud part quiet. I mean, said the quiet part loud. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Said the quiet part loud. I give these people money and they do what I say, being the politicians. And I just had up there with TYT and Wolfpack. I was like, no, this is not it. This is wrong. And so Daniel and myself and a few other people, when we were just kind of starting to tiptoe into radio, into YouTube, we went to Philly. To cover the convention, to talk about it. And we talked to a lot of Bernie Sanders delegates and Bernie Sanders volunteers, and all of their stories were the same.
Yep.
All their stories were the same.
Yep,
We
they
were
got shut
harassed
out.
by Clinton supporters. They were physically assaulted by Clinton supporters.
They were
Yelled
shouted
at by Clinton
down.
supporters, and it was all the stories were all the same. And I'm actually proud of this moment. Daniel Lupker and myself. So Mona, you probably know this. So shout out to Mona. But Daniel and myself, we actually snuck in at the Wells Fargo Center the day when Clinton was going to be named as the nominee for the Democratic Party. And we didn't go through the basement. We didn't go through the ceiling. We didn't go through any back doors or any kind of hidden entrances. We went through the front door in Philly.
Nice.
Oh, no. So here's what happened. Here's what happened, right? So Daniel had the camera gear and equipment. So he looked like a professional cameraman, right? He had the microphones and everything, and I had nothing on me. And so the person that was able to get us snuck in, he got Daniel through because Daniel couldn't pull it off because he had all the camera equipment. So he was like, "Hey, look, I got this camera gear. I'm here with the press, all that good stuff."
Sure.
Myself, I had nothing, so I'm thinking, "Shit, how am I gonna pull this off?" So, and there's a few other people that are trying to sneak in too, and I didn't want Daniel to be there by himself, so I kind of aggressively pushed myself forward because I didn't want to leave my friend Daniel in there by himself.
Sure.
Like, hey, where's Kid at? Because there's some details I'm leaving out because I don't want to say any.
Of course,
no,
so we have to withhold names for the innocent. That's right, to protect the innocent.
So Daniel and I are walking through, and or at least Daniel's already inside the Wells Fargo Center. The dude who's trying to let me in, oh my God, I still want to punch him in his mouth. He gave me like the pass to get inside, but he's like, "Stay away from me. Don't go walk too close to me. Don't walk too far away from me." And I'm like, "Dude, why are you broadcasting it so loud?" And as we get to the security center, he's kind of shaking. He's shaking in his boots, and I'm looking at him like, "Dude, you've done this for a few other people, and the fact that you're shaking like a twig in a hurricane, it's like a big broadcast signal." But thankfully, the security guards suck. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, because I'm like, all right, like, I had to kind of make myself look busy, look like moving my watch, all that kind of good stuff. I'm like, all right, hey, there you go. The guys let me through, and I get past the security guard, and he's like, "Quickly, give me that pass." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, calm down." And then he says, "I hope no one's noticing me." And I look back as he's walking so scared, and I'm thinking, dude, if I'm arrested and I see you in the prison cell next to me, I'm going to have my hands around your fucking neck because you are broadcasting yourself so loud. So I'm thinking, okay, if anything happens, I got to find Daniel. I got to find Daniel as fast as possible, man.
Right. So
I'm walking around, and I did a whole circle inside the Wells Fargo area, like, "Hey, Daniel, where are you at? Where you at?" And the original thing was, so we're in there, and we're trying to film at least what's going on. But there was a lot of miscommunication that was happening. And so what we decided to do was film what was happening to the Bernie Sanders supporters and the Bernie Sanders delegates. And honestly, the way the Clinton supporters were acting, I couldn't tell the difference between them and the most diehard radical Trump supporters. The way they were assaulting Bernie Sanders supporters and Green Party supporters. It was the most shocking thing I ever saw. And I remember walking out of the Wells Fargo Center thinking, oh my God, there's a 50-50 chance that Donald Trump's going to win this thing. And there are so many people that don't understand the severity of Trump and why Clinton is such a terrible choice. And of course, Bernie Sanders cucked out and acted like a little bitch. And so after Philly,
twice, yeah,
I was kind of like resigning myself, like, okay, this is a bunch of bullshit. Nothing's ever going to happen. It was a great dream to be on radio. It was a great dream to do these things, but you know what? Fuck it. No more. But in January of 2017, I get a phone call from Daniel Lupker. And he says, "Hey, Kit, let's try this again one more time. I got an idea. We're going to build an independent media network but we're in a race against 100,000 other people.
Hmm.
And there's a 100% certainty that we're going to fail. Do you want to do it? Me being crazy. Yeah, sure thing, buddy. Let's fucking do it. Yeah. It's either we shit or we get off the fucking pot. Fucking why not? Round 2. Bring it on. We ain't going nowhere.
Love it.
So Hardlands Media. So I mean, obviously, I'm kind of going off a tangent. So I'm pretty sure you got a question of how Hardlands Media got started, or do you want to?
Well, yeah, that's exactly kind of way. Evolution of Hardlands, secrets to building an indie channel were really the next notes that I had. So you're just segueing and you're making it really easy to do an interview without having to actually ask the question. So,
all right, hold on.
First, this is what happens when you get the professional interviewer on camera with you. He can't help but do the interview himself of himself. I love this guy. That's why I love this guy. So again, Night Riding with Kit. One of the things we need to do for you, by the way, is we need to get you a thumbnail for when you go live in your late nights, and give it a title, Night Riding with Kit, and then you give it a title, and that becomes the show.
Yeah, that would be great.
And that was actually I got to give Reef credit on that one. So Night Riding with Kit is 100% the name of your evening late night stream. Should be.
You know what? I will never forget was the thing with David Hasselhoff with Kit the Night Rider, because I used to get that. I mean, of course, there's always Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. And by the way, there's 400 different flavors of Kit Kats in Japan. So for those of you who don't know, there's
I do.
Kit Kat strawberry cake, Kit Kat tea, Kit Kat coffee, Kit Kat orange. You get a whole bunch of different flavors of Kit. So ladies, if you want all the flavors.
The many flavors of
Kit.
Kit.
Your boy Kit.
Love it.
So there you go. And then of course, there's Night Rider. So I mean, maybe so, but I'll never forget how the voice of Night Rider would give sarcastic comments not only to Michael Knight, but even to some of the occasional women guests, like, says you, woman. Says you, woman. or is it at, I don't think that works, Michael. So there you go. But no, shout out. I love that show because that was, yeah, now that show has a special place in my heart. And Mona Carmona saying, the many flavors of Kit. That's right, Mona. That's a fact. Always be right here. Heart.
Oh, look at that. That's a nice.
So there we go.
Beautiful. So
right,
yes, formation of Hardlands. So you guys were in the Wells Fargo Center. You go home after you saw the election happen, and you saw TYT completely sell out. You watched Jimmy and Anna scream at each other. Look, I was getting big into TYT then too. I'll sadly, kind of admit, but they were different network kind of then. I mean, they started just as Democrats right afterwards, and we were at least inspired, just like you were. And hey, let's find some non-corrupted candidates. We'll put some of these people in office. We'll start to change this, and we'll start to put some pressure on Nancy, as you like to say. And
no.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Nancy.
That's right.
Nancy Pelosi. Nancy.
So that being said, because I'm going to steal all your catchphrases now, we, you come to 2017. Daniel says 100,000 people are going to do the same thing. There's a 100% chance it's going to fail, and you say you're in. So how do you start? Do you guys start just kind of live streaming from your own houses with webcams like this? Did you get studio space? How did you start?
When they say work smarter, not harder, we worked harder, maybe a little not smarter. What we did was we started off on the streets and the sidewalks of Chicago. We went out and covered the activist groups, the organizers, the candidates that were setting up rallies. We were on the streets of Chicago. That's how we got started.
Love it.
We were uploading content, doing live streams. We were out there on the grind. We were marching with all these wonderful people. And mind you, look, I know things are different now with how we're doing Hardlands Media, but we do want to go back out there and have a true dedicated team to actually cover those things properly. But that's what Daniel Lupker and I did with the Galaxy S7 cell phone. That's what we did.
Fucking awesome.
And it was gradual over time how we grew. And before we got our first studio space, I'll never forget these words. I don't know why I'm kind of sort of tearing up now. Why am I? Maybe because I miss it. I miss being on the field a little bit. I mean, it's a lot of it's not fun. It's the adrenaline, maybe. But we were in Oak Park, and I'll leave this person's name anonymous because I want to protect her identity and all that good stuff, right? But what she said to us wasn't shocking or anything. She turned to us and said, "I've seen you guys all over the place covering these activist groups and organizers. You're doing such great work. Where are your people from NBC and CBS? We were in Oak Park covering like a $15 minimum wage. Where are they at? We've reached out to them. You're the only ones here. What's going on?" And I said to her, "Well, we don't know anyone in any of the Chicago affiliates. And we don't know anyone there. But we are here. We are here."
Mm-hmm.
And she said to us, "Yes, you are here. And I won't forget it."
Mm. And
that meant something. I mean, I didn't know I made an impact on a person like that we are here. Heartlands Media's here. And we were nowhere near where we're at now. And of course, YouTube silencing us. That's a whole other thing. We'll get into that later. But it meant something. It really, really meant something where she said, "I'm so happy you are here at least." We did that. And we were doing this for a while. And then our wonderful colleague, Lainey Peterson, hooked up with us. And she said, "Hey, guys, why don't you get back onto radio?" And
Right.
Daniel and I were like saying, "Okay, let's do it. Let's get onto radio." And that's when we first started at Q4 Radio. And it was such an adrenaline to be back on the radio program. And we're only on Saturdays at 12 p.m. Sadly, we never got our analytics. We kept asking for almost a whole year, how many people are tuning in to a radio station? And, you know, and again, for those people who are going to wondering like where we're at now, like there's reasons why we wanted to get our own space, because we just got tired of managers and people telling us what the fuck to do, especially when we're on radio, because we ran to so many, at least higher tier activists, you know, organizers who were telling us, "Well, you need to do this, you need to do that. Maybe you two shouldn't be running Heartlands. Maybe you should have us get involved." And I'm like, "Well, you didn't found this thing and you don't even know what we really got to do," because eventually we got into another radio station, and then we got into Can TV, a public access television network, which we're back on right now. But during that time, that was a pretty big deal because we knew nothing about running a radio station or having to run a TV series. And we had about 3 seasons on Can TV. And that was a lot of fun. That was some really big earth-shattering stuff right there, because I never thought I'd have a TV show or 2 radio programs. And the thing is, it started to get real annoying when we had a lot of people tell us that you need to do this, you need to do that, and maybe you need to watch what you say about Democrats. Maybe you need to watch what you say about this group or that group. Maybe you need to be more like NBC. Maybe you need to be more like CNN. And you see where this is going. And Daniel and I were not having any of that, because it's one thing to be looking on the outside and be like, okay, maybe I do something a little bit different than these guys. But don't be an armchair general and start telling people, here's how you need to run your program. And when we finally got onto YouTube, because we got tired of really the radio stations and TV not really telling us stuff. Well, wait, more or less, the TV station was all right. But the radio programs, we were just kind of being left in the loop. So Daniel and I decided, okay, we need to do our own thing. And we need to get a space of our own to where no one is telling us what the hell to do. And that was important. We didn't want anyone to tell us what to do. So we started the show in Daniel's apartment, just doing the show. So it was myself, Daniel Upker, and a few other people. Kira and Lainey joined us, of course. We had a few other individuals as well. But after that was done, we couldn't just be doing the show at Daniel's apartment. That's not what we wanted to do. So we wanted to get our own studio space that would be more legit. So this is where the wonderful, incredible Mona Carmona probably remembers us. That's where we got into our studio space way up on the north side with the Brown Line Station. So that's where a lot of people might remember us from, was the fake brick wall right behind us. I think we all remember that. Yeah, that's that studio space. Or do you remember that or no?
I don't know if I remember that. I didn't come on really till about 2020.
Oh, really? Well, no. We still had the fake brick.
Yeah, the fake brick wall. I do remember in the studio space. Sure.
Yeah. So that was our space, and that was our first studio space where we had everything going on. And in especially in 2019, early 2020, I mean, things were looking good for Hard Lens. We were growing, we were expanding, but then came our first strike from YouTube. That's when the internet suppression really started to take place, and the censorship really got out of control. And so we had to reevaluate how we run our studio, and that's when we created the parent company for Hard Lens, which was 99 Perspectives. And so 99 Perspectives, if anyone wants to check it out, especially if you know anyone in the city of Chicago that wants to do their own programming or show, go to 99perspectives.tv. We are creating our own radio station, and we have our own different studio sets on our 5th floor view of the city of Chicago, which is downright incredible. I love that spot.
Oh, I love the pictures that you take from there, and the video that you shoot beforehand. Gorgeous,
dude. I mean, I literally love that spot. That plus it's free. We got our own parking spot, and just like a little inside joke, like for me, for parking, it's difficult. And I'm so glad I got a space where an area where I can park and not have a headache. I mean, that's the best freaking feeling in the world. Getting a parking spot and not looking for a half hour on where the hell to park, because that's just driving me nuts.
Is there a sign? Is there a sign on your parking spot, or is it painted? Does it say?
No. But someday there's going to be a parking spot for Kid Cabello. Park here and you will die under the severest terms.
Right.
So there you go. But so Daniel Upker created 99 Perspectives, and we wanted to at least create a network where, look, if news is going to be suppressed, we're going to create other channels that can at least help out the studio and help out Hard Lens Media in the long run. And again, shout out to our wonderful Patreon supporters that have been building up our network and have been supporting us in the long run. I know we read your name out loud a lot of times in the show, but seriously, the Patreon supporters are what's keeping us alive. And now we have about, give me a minute here. We have Hard Lens Media, Chicago Corner, Chicago Reacts, Chicago Reacts Music TV, Chicago Plays. We've got about 5 channels.
99 Perspectives?
Under 99 Perspectives, yeah.
So they have their own channel too, 99 Perspectives? Not yet?
Yes and no. And no. But it's just 99 Perspectives is the name of our studio, which controls everything in our spot. And so now we've been stagnant at the number of 39,700 subscribers. Yep. And it's been like that for a while. And I'm just going to give you just a little statement that was given to us by somebody who is very authoritative, someone who is very reliable, and someone who has been a good friend of our show. Basically, what this individual said, in all reality, if you were not suppressed, Hard Lens Media at the bare minimum would be at 250K subscribers.
It's
and
upsetting.
this person, I'm going to keep them anonymous, said it was absolute confidence. Like, here's how you're getting screwed over. And they talked this over to us with Daniel Upker and myself. And, on the one side, we're like, oh, shit. we will never see that number in our lifetime because one, we started really late in the game for YouTube. And on the other hand, it's just like that. It's a really tough game. So even when I say on the show, I want to see more citizen journalists, I know for a lot of people, especially starting off now, it's a tough thing to do, but we need to see more citizen journalists in this country nationwide, no matter what state you're in. We need to have more accountability because corporate media is nothing more than a neoliberal nightmare. And I'm really happy where we're at right now for Hard Lens, but my main goal is to get us to grow even larger to where, ideally I would like us to be at 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So thankfully we're on Odysee. Thankfully we're on Rockfin and on Twitch as well, but it's still not enough. And it's just a situation where, we know things would be different if YouTube and big tech and corporate media and our two-party system weren't on the super fast rush of censorship. And it's just been a very tough road to be on. And now recently, I think a lot of people notice that Daniel's not on the show as much because I'm right now running Hard Lens and he's now running all the behind the scenes for Hard Lens and 99 Perspective. So he's taking care of all that. So all of Hard Lens and Chicago Corner are under my control. And my goal is at least get Hard Lens Media to be stable to where we can grow and hopefully we meet our Patreon goal as well, but also at the same time too, grow Chicago Corner because in 2023, we're going to have our city municipal elections and it's becoming very difficult to be a content creator on that platform for YouTube, which once used to be a full-on meritocracy.
Yeah. And that's really funny because you just led into my next topic, and that it's a big one, which is censorship, multi-platforms, and even Discord, which is one of the things that you guys, I have to commend you and give you guys credit for, is that you recognize the power of connecting with your audience and what Discord could potentially do for you as a network, as a content creator, as an independent, in a way to one-on-one connect with people. I've never seen anything quite like it personally, but you were one of first of the game on Rockfin, and you've got a substantial footing on Rockfin. Again, YouTube is definitely suppressing you, but what I love that what you guys have done was the diversification to get yourselves on other platforms early on. I remember you were one of the very first streamers on Odysee, and I give you a lot of credit for that. A lot of people don't even know that, but I know that because I'm a fan, I'm a supporter, I'm a patron. And I've been there along for that ride since you guys got started on that platform. I also was an early adopter on that platform, and I'm a big believer in Odysee, and we're live on Odysee on my channel right now. And I think that they've got a lot of potential as a platform. So I wanted to hear your take also on some of the newer platforms that have come up, like Telegram, Rumble. I saw that you guys have a Twitch channel, but it seems like you don't stream out to Twitch very much.
No, we recently just started twitching. So
good.
Or streaming on Twitch. So in fact, the past week we've been streaming on Twitch. So for those of you who may not remember, we did set up a backup channel called HLM, which was basically Hard Lens Media, but that was on YouTube. But now we're no longer streaming on HLM. We're streaming on Twitch, Odysee, Rockfin, and YouTube. So let's actually talk about alternative platforms. First of all, specifically, shout out to Rockfin and Odysee. We're really happy with what those two platforms can do. Obviously, they could do more. There's a lot more that they can do to help out content creators. But right now, Odysee is in the fight for its life against the FEC.
Yes, the SEC and the FEC, right?
Which is a bunch of bullshit. I think the FCC is going after Odysee is downright criminal on the FEC's part. And hopefully Odysee will win because right now they're dealing with the monolith of the FEC. But I think that they have what it takes to really win this fight. The same thing for Rockfin. Rockfin's like a co-op, working co-op kind of thing. And these two platforms do have what it takes, but a lot of people are so indoctrinated to YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. I don't think a lot of people are fully aware what Rockfin and Odysee can do, not only for them, but for the content creators they support. Because look, it wasn't too long ago, YouTube used to be the backyard for regular people. And then came in MSNBC, CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, and all the other corporate media outlets. And they moved on into YouTube, and YouTube started, the algorithm started favoring, corporate television, cable television. When in fact, there was a reason why people started tuning away from corporate TV, because it was BS, as it is BS right now. And I would say to everyone that's watching this, no matter what platform you're on, unsubscribe from CNN, unsubscribe from Fox News. Don't help the algorithm by watching their programming, because who trusts corporate media now?
Nobody.
Look, corporate media lied to you.
Too many people, actually, unfortunately. Too many people are trusting
corporate media lied
these
to you
days.
about Russiagate. Corporate media lied to you about the fact that, oh no, hey, that Hunter Biden laptop story, it's fake news. Turns out now,
no, not so
2
much.
years later, New York Times confirmed it, and there's a lot of shady stuff on Hunter Biden's laptop. It's stuff that I can't even say, especially since you're streaming on YouTube.
Thank you.
But there's some, very sensitive material on there.
Spicy, awful, disgusting stuff.
So,
yeah.
Some disgusting crap. So, it's for me, I hope that Odysee and Rockfin can get enough traction to where people start supporting them. And look, the RE token and the library token, RE being for Rockfin, Ethereum, and then of course there's the library token for Odysee.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we look at e-currency, there's potential there for it to help out independent content creators, where they're not just worried about what YouTube would do to them, and there's more freedom to where you can actually promote a program, do a show, and not worry about getting censored. But this is the nightmare we're in, because YouTube is never going to regress backwards towards what they once used to be, which was a meritocracy.
And it's commercial free. Just remember, it's all commercial free. That's the selling point to me of Rockfin and Odysee. YouTube is, unless you're paying $10 a month, you're being plagued and served so many freaking ads, like constantly, if you're not buying YouTube Premium. Now, if you're buying YouTube Premium, you're killing the ads. Still, you're spending $10 a month just for that privilege to have what you're already getting for free on Rockfin and Odysee, and they're backing up all the YouTube. People are streaming live to there. I've even now started to hear radio stations in the New York metro area are streaming live to Odysee. So they're now starting to get promoted as a platform outside of independent lefty spaces, which is really exciting. Now, the other thing is we've been told forever Odysee is a right-wing platform. Well, wait a minute. The only way it's a right-wing platform is about the content creators. It's a platform. So let's make it left-wing and at least balance it out by Hard Lens being there, by Independent Left being there, Slow News Day. Everybody in our space has basically already been on Odysee for a while. I saw Richard Redhurst, luckily, thankfully, recently just set up an Odysee channel as well for himself. And that's already got a substantial amount of stuff. That guy's blowing up. I'm so happy for him. He's just awesome. Mona, by the way, I dropped in a referral invite link to subscribe to our Odysee channel in the chat for everyone.
Yeah, Mona, get on Odysee. What's wrong with you? Come on, Mona. I'm calling you out. What is going on with Mona Carmona not being on Odysee?
She just signed up. There she goes. She says she just signed up. See that? We love her. Right. She's so great. All right. She's the super supporter.
And I lost my chance. Don't worry, Mona. I saw that live stream chat. We said, "Oh, Kip," but I reached out to you, and I was like, "I'm sorry, sorry now."
Oh, there's
now I lost it. My heart is broken.
All the red hearts. So you guys are too much. All right.
Well.
So yeah, Patreon again. You guys do a Patreon show. You guys figured out how to do some exclusive stuff and provide content for both Patreon as well as Rockfin. I love that you guys also do an exclusive Rockfin show. That's one of the things I know that Martin is big about, is having some kind of exclusive premium content to the, specifically to the channel.
So I'll explain why we're doing the Rockfin premium show. The whole idea to do that is so that we look, obviously the YouTube algorithm is triggered by, and again, I don't want to get your live stream in trouble, but there is an individual somewhere in the European hemisphere who was a whistleblower, who was in the fight for his life.
I don't care. We say his name all day long. Free Julian Assange all day long.
Free Julian. Okay, fine. I didn't know. I didn't know what your policies were for your YouTube channel, because we got it. But you do have to be careful. I just want to make sure for that.
No, for that, screw tube on that one. Let them. But
right.
Again, we're live on Odysee too.
So there's Julian Assange, there's Edward Snowden, these whistleblowers, and we want to do an exclusive show that will at least cover these individuals and what they're what they're dealing with, what they're fighting against, and of course, I've been not hesitant, but I've been trying to reach out to a few people who would be able to be on our Rockfin show. Obviously, we're on 3 p.m. Every Thursday, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, to do our Rockfin exclusive show. And I know a lot of people have busy schedules, but we're trying to get like guests on our show for our Rockfin exclusive content, because that way they're able to speak their minds freely. It's a half-hour show, but I mean, at least there we can start talking about some controversial subjects that YouTube won't let us talk about.
Hell yeah!
And that's one of the reasons why we really support Rockfin and Odysee too, to an extent too, because Odysee's been very good to us. Rockfin's been good to us. And the thing is, when we need to reach out to people at Odysee and Rockfin, we get a personal response, not just an automatic response from the machine like you would get from YouTube. So Rockfin and Odysee, we've had some very positive interactions.
Everybody talks about Jamie. Everybody talks about Jamie at Rockfin, that he's great, and the tech has been getting better slightly, but it's been a while. But they've got an Android app now, and that was a big thing, and having that ready. The other big thing about Rockfin, Max Blumenthal does an exclusive show there, and you've got Alex Rubenstein does an exclusive show there, the Pro Democracy Pod. I think that, again, Misty, when you're getting banned from YouTube, you've got your Rockfin channel, and you've got that as to lean on and to rely on, thankfully. So, again, I love what you're doing on that platform, and everyone I like is on that platform. And, you don't need to subscribe to the premium content. There's tons of free stuff on there for you on the Hardlands channel if you want to support. The best thing is that for $10 a month, you get premium content for the whole platform. Martin, I'm doing a free commercial for you for your platform again. Because
shout out. Yeah, no, but seriously, shout out to Odysee and Rockfin. They've been very good. But see, the thing is, this is where we're getting at in the realm of censorship, especially after January 6th, where you have members of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party on board for immediate censorship and suppression. Look what happened to Convo Couch.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Ford Fisher. Even look what happened to Status Quo when they were covering what happened at January 6th. Their individual videos were taken off, demonetized by YouTube, but yet CNN, Fox News, MSNBC used their clips, their video imagery, and yet YouTube says CNN, that's okay. Fox News, that's okay. MSNBC, that's okay. CBS, that's okay. ABC, that's okay. This is the double standard. And yet, all the times that MSNBC has gotten their facts wrong, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram have indicated that they're okay because they're authoritative. But yet, these are the same media outlets that lie to us day in, day out. And I don't want to even just focus on the thing with Ukraine, because we're seeing this insane war. And mind you, I want to be very clear. I'm anti-war through and through, be it anything the United States does or Russia does, because every minute that this conflict continues to go on, we're at risk of the nukes being dropped and we got mushroom clouds in the sky. And I don't want to see that. This entire war that we're seeing in Ukraine is a failure, not only on Russia's part, but on NATO and the Biden-Harris administration, where they decided to poke a crazy bear, and they're surprised all of a sudden the bear would attack. Like, no shit, Sherlock. And then, of course, we get this madness and hypocrisy of, oh, Ukraine this, Ukraine that. Whereas they're ignoring the Azov Battalion, and ignoring the fact that in 2014, the United States spent billions of dollars to do a coup in Ukraine. Very similar to like how the United States is doing coups in Venezuela, Central America, other South American countries, other Central American countries, or like how what America did to Libya, where it stabilized the government, and now there's open slave trade happening. There's, of course, the crisis in Syria, the genocide in Yemen, and so many other locations.
We did all that.
This is a failure. It's such a failure. And the thing is, corporate media still gets to keep on covering the stories. And you think big tech like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube are going to hold them accountable? No, because of course, if we rewind back the clocks, remember, corporate media was so jealous of people like PewDiePie because he was so popular, or people like Joe Rogan because they're so popular. But the thing is, there's reasons why PewDiePie, Joe Rogan,
Jimmy Dore.
Why am I getting the blackout? The other guy that's right now being vilified.
Oh, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. Thank you so much, Russell Brand. All these people are being vilified. Why are they so popular? Because obviously Rachel Maddow and all those other sycophants at MSNBC or CNN or ABC or Fox News or CBS, all these other outlets, people don't trust the corporate media anymore because corporate media has lied and lied and lied or got the facts wrong. And only then, a few months later, do they admit, oh, well, we got this wrong. Oops. That's not how journalism works, because you have corporate outlets controlling the media. You have corporate outlets dictating to the media and dictating to the people who are supposed to be reporting news what you're supposed to say. And if you don't say things right, they'll lose their advertisers. So, again, at the end of the day, and again, shout out to Jimmy Dore, because he talked about this too, where when he was on Tucker Carlson's show, he asked Tucker Carlson, hey, how come you're allowed to talk about Julian Assange or being against the war in Syria? Like, what do you have? And the thing is, Tucker Carlson said, the advertisers are all gone, so I could do whatever I want. He has freedom. And look, there's a lot of things I disagree with Tucker Carlson about. But when it comes down to freedom of speech, standing against the big tech censorship, standing against these ridiculous regime change wars, okay, Tucker, if you're all that's there, fine. Hey, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, you could do the same thing too, but they won't, because of course we're all still stuck with this Trump derangement syndrome. See, Trump's not the problem with American politics. See, Trump is a parasite. Trump is a reaction towards the neoliberal policies that were created under the Bidens, the Kennedys, the freaking Kennedys,
the Clintons,
again, sorry, hold on, wait, I gotta get this off my chest.
Go ahead.
I am not a fan of the Kennedy legacy, and I'm not a fan of the Kennedys. I just don't like them. That's including JFK. I really don't like JFK. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But anyways, I had to get that off my chest. I'm not a fan of JFK. Same thing with the Bushes. Same thing with the Clintons, the Obamas, the Trumps at this point, because the Trumps are a political family too. You got your Nancy Pelosi's, Nancy Pelosi's, you got your Chucky Boy Schumers, you got your McConnells, you got your Lindsey Graham crackers, you got all these jagoff politicians who've been in power for 20, 30 plus 40 years. And they created this neoliberal nightmare to where they want to control the narrative. And with the rise of the internet, they couldn't control it, but only now, thanks to, of course, reactionary politics and, of course, identity politics, and even the fact that you have recent new politicians like AOC and super fast rush of censorship and silencing and suppressing people. It's only what they're creating is a horrible environment to where no one's going to trust anything at all. And yet you have outlets like TYT and Majority Report parroting Democratic talking points
all day.
Because wait, now because they got maybe a doorway into corporate media, now that they're legitimate.
Even though there's none.
TYT.
There's none. There's no politicians going on TYT at this point. They're not getting the squad on. What are they other than shepherds to the Democratic Party? Okay, DSA, they're essentially Jacobin. I don't know what they are and who they serve, except to kind of crap on actual activists, which is what you guys are. And that's the next thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that you guys, while you're a news network, you live it on a daily basis. You participate. You raise your hands whenever somebody asks you to participate in an event, like, for example, and I'm ever grateful, the U.S. Solutions Summit. We're coming up on almost the anniversary, amazingly enough, of that event. Okay, you guys were part of that, and you didn't know what it was or who we were, but we were like, we got an idea to pull some people together and have some panel discussions, and that was awesome. Okay, I also want to shout out that you guys were there at the March for Medicare for All, that you were at the General Strike Summit, that you've been there repeatedly, okay, and raised your hand.
I'll tell you why we're there. I'll tell you why we did what we did. We want to be consistent. We're against censorship on all forms. And I know in this day and age, there's a lot of people that like certain channels and don't like certain channels. We don't care about that. No matter what independent media network is silenced or suppressed, be it TYT, and I'm just going to say this here, be it TYT or any other independent media network, if they're silenced or suppressed on YouTube, just like how we did with The Hill, we're going to say to YouTube, revoke that and reinstate their channel, because it's important to be consistent, because we were hit not once, but 5 times by YouTube. And you know what? We're still recovering from those 5 gut checks. And I don't want anyone to go through that. And I'll tell you why we went to bat for you guys with your solution. Because we know what it's like to just be starting off, the people on the outside looking in. And there were a lot of people that laughed at Daniel and I, that ignored us, that said we'll never be anything. You'll always be on the outside. Or here's how you need to run your show. Or this is what you need to do. Or here's what you need to do. Or maybe you and Daniel need to step aside and let someone else take control. We got this. We know better than you. And no, we didn't. And so with you guys running US Solutions, we were there. Because why not? We know what it's like to be kicked down and to be starting off. So, okay, Hardlands Media will stand in solidarity with the US Solutions Summit, because it's just not, well, we want to do this because it's because they're just starting out. It's because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
That was awesome.
Help out those that are trying to do better. And hang on, I'm going to be a little arrogant here. I'm just going to be a little arrogant here. I'm going to be a little smug here. Overly so. I'm just going to say that the March for Medicare for All in Chicago was the best one, because we were the ones running it. We were the MCs. Now, we were not the organizers. I want to be very clear. The organizers asked us to be the MCs. So we had no control over who was going to be the guest speakers or anything, but we put our foot down on this, the organizers. We said this: we do not want to be silenced. We're going to make sure everyone speaks, and we're going to make sure everyone has their voice heard. Everyone who needed to speak had their voices heard. And I did something that, you know, and this is just me being a little big head here, but every time I've covered like activists or organizers, you know, when they're speaking at any kind of areas, the one thing that always kind of stood out to me is that the speakers or whoever was running the thing never walked amongst the crowd, never said, hey, how you doing? Didn't put on Caesar's red cloak and say, I will march amongst the people.
Right.
Yeah, of course, mind you, you know, Caesar is, you know, he's a war criminal. He's all that stuff, right? But it's the whole thing of the siege of Alesia. I like that, because Caesar put on his red cloak and stood with his soldiers.
You walk among the people, right?
Yeah, walks amongst your soldiers, and Caesar will fight along amongst you. And during the March for Medicare for All Chicago rally, after I got done speaking, you know, and introducing the next speaker, I would jump off the stage and walk amongst the people, be like, hey, are you getting enough water? How are you doing? Welcome, good to see you. Shake people's hands, and even talk to the radio guy, or at least the stage manager, be like, is everything all good? And he was happy, because he was like, I'm glad you're letting people speak. But we had some Democratic politicians that were trying to worm their way on the stage. And they were yelling at me like, how dare you organize this and not bring us involved? Or, kid, we want this person to speak. And I was like, I'm not running the thing. I'm not the organizer. I'm not the lead person in charge. I'm the MC.
Right.
You got to talk to the organizers there. And I had that conversation not once, but more than 10 times. There's a lot of people who are trying to push their way on the stage. Be like, well, hold on. Wait a minute. I have a list of people that have to speak. You're not on it. You talk to the organizers. I'm the MC. But again, Daniel and I did such a great job being MCs that it kind of looked like we were running the thing. But again, I want to be very clear. We were not the organizers in charge. The organizers did a phenomenal job, but because we've heard some stories about other March for Medicare for All rallies where people were silenced, like Fiorella and a few other people from the Combo Couch or Mikasa Casa Network who were silenced. And we weren't going to have that. If you were going to speak at our rally, and if I'm going to be an MC and you're there, you're going to speak. You're going to speak, and people are going to hear what you got to say. And I'm just going to say this. I'm going to be arrogant here. Chicago is number one. There's no debate, just like our pizza. We're number one. I saw some people in the live stream chat already post the New York style. No, it's not. We got 4 different styles in Chicago. Come at us, bro. We're number one. And everything that Chicago does is great. Why? Because we're the best there is and best there ever will be. That's
thin crust and brick oven style I'm down with, and I think Chicago does a pretty decent thin crust brick oven style, but I'm certainly not down with the tomato soup that has cheese lined in the bottom with the dough. So okay,
all right.
These are the Pizza Accords 2022. Whoa. Okay, Ed's in the chat. He always pizza's good no matter what form it takes, and that's the end result.
You know something, dude. We're gonna have this. Let me tell you something about Chicago.
I know where Fee stands.
Oh, I know where Fee stands too, and I'll never forget where she posted that rigged election. Which is better, Chicago style or New York style? And I honestly have to say there was election fraud in Fiorella's post. She committed election. I hope Fiorella hears this too.
I want to audit the machines. I want to audit the machines. We need to audit the machines.
Mona. Okay, Mona, hold on. I saw you say you like deep dish
and thin crust. See, look at Mona. Mona's such a politician. She loves everybody. Mona. She figures it out. Mona. She knows how to appeal.
Mona, hold on. Wait. Mona. This is a heart. This is a heart right here. Mona. Deep dish pizza. Mona, please. Mona. Chicago. Mona, for me. You are the super delegates.
It's the Pizza Accords,
the super delegate.
It's the Pizza
Screw
Accords.
Democracy.
All pizza is good democracy. Pizza. Right, Mona. Pizza is just good. So General Strike Summit. I know you've been an advocate for General Strike for a while as well, among the people and organizing and figuring out how do we fund a General Strike. I think that's really the big question. Is if we're going to do this, I think the truckers honestly are laying out the template now. We've got to get them involved. We've got to stop that flow, and we've got to figure out a way to support them. But now we're looking at what they're doing. They're going after the funding mechanisms, right? They're going after the platforms. They're going after the individuals that are trying to get involved and amplify this stuff and suppress them. Russell Brand, for example, is a great example of that.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this about the General Strike Summit. Shout out to Revolutionary Blackout Network. I'm actually going to be on their show next Saturday. So nice. I know I said on previous week that I was going to be on the show this Saturday, but they're holding their third-party summit meeting, which I think is phenomenal.
Agreed.
But I'm going to be on their show, and you know what? Revolutionary Blackout Network has been doing something that is groundbreaking. That is promoting mutual aid and talking about issues that the nation, this country, needs to start addressing, and that is helping each other out and building each other up, and not supporting this two-party system that's going to pander to so many people and lie to so many people. So, again, I'm glad I'm seeing this. I'm glad I'm seeing the rise of organizations or outlets like Revolutionary Blackout Network, like the Mikasa Casa Network, like Jimmy Dore, like Graham Elwood, like Ron Falcone, like so many others. And we need to see more of it. And the thing is, we have to keep ourselves alert on how this environment will change, because we have to adapt all the time to how the rules are changing. Look, we saw The Hill get suspended for 7 days. They're an authoritative source. We saw what happened to the New York Post. They're an authoritative source, but in 2020, if you tried to share that article about the Hunter Biden laptop on Twitter or Facebook, Twitter and Facebook not only silenced the New York Post, but they silenced anyone that was trying to share that article. And now 2 years later, the New York Times is admitting, oh, well, what a shock.
Even in
Turns out
direct
it's
messages, even in DMs, they were silencing people. You weren't even allowed to share it in a DM. You remember that?
Yes, exactly. And this is the environment we're in. We need to see more independent media. And I want to say this to anyone that's a libertarian, a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, a socialist, a green, a communist, independent, non-affiliate, whatever generation you're part of, the color of your skin or who you worship, whether you're religious or atheist, it doesn't matter. The point is, freedom of speech is at risk here in this country. And in order to have a strong democracy, you need to have a strong free press that's not controlled by corporations. But we can thank the Democrat, Bill Clinton, and his presidential administration for supporting the Telecoms Act, for making our media landscape the nightmare that it is right now. And now big tech is contributing to the censorship. And you have Democrats that are contributing to the censorship. And then you have people on The View, and then you have U.S. Senator Republican Mitt Romney saying that Tucker Carlson and Tulsi Gabbard need to be arrested under treason. The Department of Justice needs to investigate them and start doing McCarthy-like witch hunts.
Literally McCarthyism.
Well, it doesn't stop there. When you call for censorship, everyone's on the chopping block. And I know there's a lot of jagoffs out there that are rooting for censorship, that are rooting for silence and suppression. But the thing is, as soon as the channel that you don't like is gone, guess what? The channels you like are also put on the chopping block, because the algorithm is going to hunt down everyone, because you have the neoliberal narrative controlling everyone. All these people that are cheerleading for censorship are also going to be victims of censorship as well.
At some point, look,
you cannot have a democracy or free press if there's going to be censorship. And the thing is, I get this pushback. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm so sorry. But when you have people that are on board for censorship, that are open for the silencing of others because they don't like a person's perspective and point of view, it's only going to create more echo chambers where people cannot communicate. And I will say this right here, right now. There are bad people that abuse free speech. There are individuals that will tell lies and hurt other people and give misinformation. But I believe in this truth that is fundamental in my belief in humanity, that the world is filled with good people, and everyone watching this can come up with your own decision on the information that's given to you. But we need to see all perspectives, and it's important for us to see every point of view with an open mind. Now, we all have our biases. I'm guilty of having my own biases. You're guilty of having your own biases. But there's a point of being a mature person and looking at different perspectives and point of views and coming up with your own conclusion. And there are bad people that abuse free speech. But I believe that the world is filled with good people to stand up to that minority of bad people that are giving misinformation and hate speech. Because when the people step up and say no more, we're on our path for a better future. But I think so many of us have been trained by the political system, by the corporate media, to be obedient little puppies. By being these obedient servants, we're being silent. People just got to stand up and say no more. People got to step up and say, I can make my own decision. We have to build something better. And that's why I'm on board for more independent media networks. I'm on board for more citizen journalists. I want to see the rise of independent people running for office, be they running for third party or non-affiliate. And I want to see movements and organizations that are not connected to that freaking swamp bubble in Washington, D.C. We have to do something more. You're not, these politicians from and look, I respect Bernie Sanders and the words that he says, but he's a cuck, okay? These politicians are not the knight on the hill that will help us. It's you. You're that person. Mm-hmm. You're that person. Your neighbor is that person. Your community are those people. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
That's right. Nobody's coming to save us but us.
That's it.
But I was actually going to talk about
That's my mind.
The censorship thing. You know, I remember a year and a half ago or so, Anna Kasparian, she was yelling about censorship, and she was on Jacobin. She was interviewing Professor Richard Wolff, and Facebook cut the stream off midstream in the middle of her calling for censorship on somebody else. And I was like, this is exactly what happens when you do that, you know. And sure enough, it came back to about, like, literally within a week. It was exactly what we're talking about. So One of the things that I was surprised to learn already tonight is that you worked at Costco. I always want to ask if there's something else that you want to share that people would be surprised to know about you, that you want to share with everybody else, and that you like, that you follow, that you do, something that would be completely out of left field. I see you giggling. You got something there. What do we got?
All right. You want to know something about Kid Cabello? Mona, here you go. Sadly, I lost my chance with Mona. I'll never get it back. Oh, my goodness.
Yes, you did.
There
You
you
certainly
go.
blew it.
Yes,
But
yes,
I know there was a lady.
I blew it.
I heard there was a lady in the picture at some point. Is there still a lady in the picture?
No.
No. Okay, we're back to night riding with Kit. Okay, all right, we're back to swiping left and swiping right. Okay.
No, I'm not part of that right now. Right now, Kid Cabello's single and sassy. So here's something that's happening. For those of you who don't know, I was on 3 dinosaur expeditions when I was a kid. 2 to Montana and 1 to South Dakota. I wanted to be a paleontologist when I was a kid. I wanted to study dinosaurs. Maybe when I'm an old man, I could do that as a hobby. Maybe once all the dragons are slayed and all the monsters are gone, there will be no need for Kit Cabello to speak his mind anymore. And what a relief that would be, eh?
That sounds like Jank. Once we've landed the ship, maybe I'll go do that. That's what that reminds me of.
Don't compare me to Jank. I don't want to be
Jank. Look, this is 2016, 2017, like when he was still not 100% shit turned and gone corporate guy. When I actually had a closet full of T-shirts for those guys, and again, I was lost too. I mean, there wasn't the rise of independent media, and you didn't know about it, and unless you're like in this world, that's the thing. We have to figure out, how do we break through? How do we get past the noise, the censorship, get past the 100,000 to 150,000 fans of the left? I mean, Jimmy is breaking through now. Russell Brand is breaking through now.
Finally. Well,
congratulations on 1 million subs. Did they drop them down below again?
Technically, hold on. Technically, really, if we're really being honest here, Jimmy should have reached 1 million subs 4 years ago.
Years ago.
You should really be at the bare minimum, and I'm going to be generous with this, at the bare minimum, 3 million. But ideally, you should be at 5 million subscribers right now.
Yeah.
We all know this. Because Jimmy has been screwed over by YouTube a lot. And he has a right to be angry about a lot of things. Same thing as the people at the Gray Zone, Mint Press News, Aaron Mate, Glenn Greenwald. I mean, let's face it, all those guys, especially the teams at the Gray Zone and Mint Press News, have been hit hard by suppression and silence, including Jimmy Dore, who was smeared. You know, I mean, those numbers should be a lot higher. There's no argument about that.
That's everybody we cover. That's great. I'm so proud of those guys.
It's just we need to push forward. And I also want to acknowledge something that Mona just said. The world needs you, Kit. I'm glad you're doing what you're doing instead of studying dino fossils. You know, Mona, I actually, a long time ago, I found a lot of rare dinosaur bones and fossils back in the day. I do miss it. I was ever enthusiastic. Maybe someday I'll go back to my old. I still have so many dinosaur books here in my library that I occasionally look at, and I just wonder, maybe someday, but it's not today. But there we go. You asked for other secrets or stuff that people don't know about.
Anything you want to share. That's great stuff. I love getting that.
I never knew this until sometime later, but my family has a lot of connections to Japan that I never knew about.
Huh.
Like, not only do we have like dishware sets and stuff that came from Japan, but my uncle, Bernard, who passed away, may he rest in peace, in 2020, was stationed in Japan. I mean, I've got so many relatives and family members that live in Japan. It was really a humbling experience, and especially being in Japan in 2020 before the whole world went upside down, I got a whole new experience and a different perspective what it's like to be in a different country altogether. And I will never forget it. And I will never forget my time, especially at Hiroshima, where I walked inside the Peace Museum. You know, seeing those artifacts of the first atomic bomb dropped. No one in that city or in Nagasaki deserved what happened to them. over innocent civilians. And here we are seeing this ridiculous war in Ukraine take place. Have we not learned our lesson? Have we not seen what happens when these weapons are used?
And they're
there was
talking
one artifact.
They're
there
talking
was
about a
one
tactical
artifact.
nuke now. What are they? What is it? I forget the language, but they're literally talking about like that they can drop something and it's not going to affect anybody else. Come on.
That's not how it works.
No.
I'll never forget the pictures of the children. Because the thing is, when you walk inside the museum, it seems peaceful at first, but when you see the entire exhibits, you will not walk out the same person. I challenge anyone to go to the Hiroshima Peace Museum. Go in there. I challenge you if that won't affect you. I challenge you if you won't cry. I cried. I was sad. And it stays with me. There was one artifact that stood out, and that was these ink glass bottles. They were fused together. And the one comment underneath the sign was, how hot was it for this to happen? How hot did it get for these ink glass bottles to fuse together? It was unnatural. And when you see the children, the elderly, that were hit with this devastating weapon, every minute that we're alive on this planet, we should be grateful for it. And yet we have these weapons of mass destruction pointed at each other. We have to be better. You know, we had a scare way early on when Hawaii got that danger message about nukes were incoming. And people were afraid and didn't know what to do.
In Hawaii, oh my God.
In Hawaii, of all places, and Tulsi Gabbard was talking about it on the Joe Rogan show, it is a very real danger. We have to be better. You know, I actually walked by the building where the bomb dropped, the hypercenter. You know, there's a skeletal remains of the building. And inside the building, I saw two things that showed me that no matter what, life will go on. There was a flower growing in the middle of the building. And then there was a little kitten right there. Life goes on.
Amazing.
And life is precious. We've got to be better than this. And these politicians and this corporate media that we have, they're lying to us all the time.
Too much.
Another thing too. So here, let's switch the move. When I was in Iraq, my first tour, I was living in the basement before corporate media said millennials were living in basements. I was living in basements before school. I was living in Saddam Hussein's basement in one of his palaces. So that's a thing. And I saw Dean Cain playing poker. He was winning, by the way, and I was doing a foot patrol, and I wanted so badly to get in the game, even though I really sucked at poker. I was like, I think I could take on Dean Cain. But Dean Cain was playing poker. He was there to motivate the troops. He was really great. It was a really awesome time. He was a great guy. Yeah, no, I got a photo of me hanging out with Dean Cain. Yeah, Dean Cain was an awesome dude. So I know he's a Republican or
he went all hardcore right wing, huh? He's Fox News now.
I know, but you know, in his defense, folks, when I was there in 2005, he was a pretty cool guy. He's a pretty cool guy.
Well, yeah, he's a complete right wing douchebag. But at least to me, he was cool.
At least I'm probably gonna get canceled now, but no, he was pretty cool with me. So there we go. There we go. So
nice.
And then let's see. I worked at Costco, so Costco treats its workers well.
Yes, they do.
I will give my biased position on that. Costco has treated me well. Let's see. Occasionally I work at the seafood department, and I actually ran into a U.S. senator when I was serving at the seafood show. So what we'd have, like every Sunday at Costco, there would be like a road show. That's what it's called, or like a seafood road show.
Right.
And Right. So like, obviously there was the cooked food that was frozen, and then there was the raw food that was frozen, right? And so obviously you had to change your gloves so you don't cross-contaminate raw food with cooked food, because that's not safe for people, right?
Of course.
I'm going to leave the senator anonymous because they are a former senator. But they were adamant for me not to change my gloves. Like, oh, no, just hurry up because I'm in a hurry. And I'm like, no. I got my supervisor right there.
I can't do that. I'll get fired.
No, I can't do that. No, one, I had the store manager there and a few other higher people up there. They were kind of looking at me. I was like I can't. I'm going to use the Newmanburg defense here. I'm following orders. I cannot just touch raw food with cooked food. And this senator actually had on their head, because I'm not going to give out their gender or anything like that, former U.S. senator. I'm like, get the fuck out. Like, I don't care if you're a senator or not, or a former senator or not, I will not cross-contaminate food for you. And this person got really upset with me and started to yell at me, and then complained to one of my managers. And then the store manager, thankfully, came up to me and said, hey, what's going on? I'm like, look, this person wanted me to touch the raw food with the cooked food. And there's a sign right behind me that says, hey,
I can't do that.
Change your gloves. Change your gloves when you touch raw food if you're going to go for cooked food. He says, oh, don't worry about it. Whatever. Like, they basically heard, like, okay, we'll talk to him. Wink. We'll make sure. Wink. We'll do all that. But I was like, man, fuck it. Like, you're fine, kid. There you go. So there you go. That's some of the stuff we did. And otherwise than that,
So let's see. You talked about. So I wanted to ask you a couple of things. I know we're running up on 2 hours, believe it or not, or an hour and a half.
Oh no, we are.
No,
an hour
and a half. Believe it or not. But no, that's great. I love it. I got all the time in the world for you. But I wanted to ask you about like some of the other shows and channels that you like to watch, that you like to go on to. Also, like I know Reef's been dying to have you on Reefer After Dark soon, so we'll have to get you on that one for sure.
Yeah, I gotta do that. Yeah.
But some of the other channels, I know you said you've been kind of head down and focused on building 99 Perspectives and on building Hardlands and Chicago Corner and staffing up. I also wanted to give a shout out to Kira. Love Kira. Wanted to send love out to Kira and Comfy Fitness, and she's a mom now, and she did this through the whole pregnancy.
Kira and Lainey are powerhouses.
Kira and Lainey, shout out to both of them.
If honestly, I'm so glad we got them part of our team. They are heavyweights and they're the best at what they do, and they're really, honestly, they're two people I would want in my corner if I was part of a debate team, because they are really knowledgeable and they don't fuck around. They are on point and strong women. That's what I gotta say about them. They're strong women who really have set a standard at our studio of what it means to be a commentator and reporter of the news. I have absolute respect for Kira and Lainey. And I'm so glad we got them part of our team. We're not letting them go.
I miss corporations behaving badly. We got to bring that back.
Yeah,
we got to bring that back for sure.
So you asked me like what do
other
I like
channels?
Hold on,
other channels, other shows, non-political stuff too.
Okay, so this will be like a little fun secret, because I haven't even finished this. I'm a fan of Warhammer 40K. It's set in the grimdark future. Humanity is under the rule of a theocratic, fascist, imperialist empire, but it's more complex than that. It's Warhammer 40K is my favorite series of lore. I just love it, and it's a great series. Just it takes a while for people to learn into it. A few YouTube channels that I like to watch, of course, is Fall of Civilization podcast, Kings and Generals, Alternate History Hub, what else? Trady Explainer. What else do I like to watch? Hold on. Oops. I think it's called Curiosity Stream. or Curiosity Archive.
Yeah. I think Second Thought goes on there. Mm-hmm.
No. It has to deal with like alternative, like speculative evolution. That's what it has to do.
Oh wow. That's
I,
cool.
I don't think it's still what's called maybe. And of course there's a few other science channels I like to watch because let's face it, I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes down to science and dinosaurs. My heart still belongs to paleontology, so there we go. I'm a fan of paleontology. When it comes down to independent left news, first of all, shout out to Indie Left that's promoting so many of us. Hey, who is Indie Left? I wonder who they are.
Well, you're looking at one of the guys. It's but there are a
One of the
couple of
guys.
volunteers, but it's mostly me. I started this thing about 2 years ago, but in our space, I mean, there's probably 200 people, and it's grown tremendously. Look, 4 years ago there was like you guys and Nico and MCSC and Convo and TYT and Tim Black and Jimmy, and that was about it.
Yeah, I know.
And now look at this foundation that we've created.
Well, first I have to give a shout out to Revolutionary Blackout Network.
Mm-hmm.
They have really expanded, and I'm really proud of all their commentary, and I'm really proud to actually be on their show for next Saturday. Shout out again to Nick, also known as Socials MMA, for inviting me on. So that's going to be something. Shout out to Sarcasm Stardust, Misty, who again we actually saw her at the last year's Jimmy Dore show in Talia Hall in Chicago.
Oh, right.
The whole entire Heartlands media team. We were at Talia Hall. I managed to reserve a big table for us. So there was like 12 of us there. We're all sitting at this table like mafia dons, okay? We're all dressed up. We all look great. And we see Misty. We're like, Misty! There we are. We're all sitting with all these bottles of wine and champagne. We got all this food in front of us. We're eating like damn hell-ass kings, and no one can tell us what to do. It was a great time. So shout out to Misty. She's got her own radio show, and I'm going to be on her show on Monday, which will be great. Shout out to Nico House.
I'm going
shout
on
out to the
Tuesday
entire
with Misty.
Casa Network. Shout out to Convo Couch, Fiorella, and Pasta. I guess Pasta was upset that I was calling him Craig, but so there we go. There we go. Shout out to Pasta. Shout out to Frank Analysis, Jackson Hinkle. Shout out to Jimmy Dore. Shout out to Graham Elwood, Ron Cone, Lee Camp. I'm naming all these people because these are the same people that went to bat for us when we first got hit with suppression. Same thing for Indie Left too. You guys went to bat for us too when we got hit, not once but 4 times. So,
Yep.
I want to see different people's perspectives and points of view. And yes, I do watch some libertarian channels too, just to hear what they're saying too, because I'm curious what they're thinking, what's going on. So those are some kind of channels I watch.
Oh, that's great. Again,
science fiction, educational,
and it's funny.
And right now, my whole mindset is just building myself up.
It's a lot of the core of what a lot of us watch too. Okay, Convo, and again, I'll be on Misty's show on Tuesday. I'm so glad you'll be on Monday. I know, so proud of her for taking the leap, and actually, I know she's excited about doing the radio, and it's something she's been wanting to do for a long time. So happy to be on her show and to talk about censorship and talk about press freedom and to talk about all the things that are going on right now. Narrative management, man. Again, to the point where I started even writing, it motivated me to point out like the misinformation and find the points where they're showing pictures from 2016 and footage from 2018 and glossing over the Azov battalion but what's amazing is we're breaking through in our space and we know everything that's going on, and we're like, how does everybody not know about this? And then I turn to the people who are like the normies in my space, the people that aren't like plugged into all this, and all they learn is what they see on corporate news and what they're watching on CNN and MSNBC, and they hear Putin is Hitler and that Ukraine is lily white and NATO didn't do anything wrong and NATO's not really trying to expand. Well, we're trying to expand, but we never promised that we wouldn't, and Russia shouldn't have any problem with that. Why does NATO exist in the first place at this point? There's so many things that are not even discussed and allowed to be in the parameters. Again, I appreciate that you are constantly calling to that. And I love that when you get so angry and passionate about something at night, you're sitting home, you're fired up, you've already done your full freaking day, and you've done an hour-long news show, an hour-long Patreon show, and you get so fired up, you're like, fuck, man, I got to go live right now, and I got to get this out right now. And you sit right there and you rant on us for 45 minutes, and I love it to death. And again, we got to call it Night Riding with Kit. We got to get it. We got to get a thumbnail. There's so Reef is talking about Busta Rhymes doing the fired up song, with the Night Rider music. We've already got the whole thing laid out. We got theme song. We got thumbnail. Jesse Jet's gonna play it for you.
I'm on board to seeing this because there's a lot of things I want to do for the show. And you know what? I'm just proud of seeing so many people step up, from you to everyone in independent media, and even to the audience watching. I'm humbled by the support. I'm shocked by the support, and it tells me that I just got to redouble my efforts, because I didn't know I made such an impact on a lot of people. And it tells me that there's people listening, but more importantly, I want those same people that are listening to help inspire others in your community, in your state, to do more too, because it's just not about, excuse me about that. It's not about Hardlands Media. It's about ensuring that we have a free press. It's ensuring that free speech is protected. And I believe in the fundamentals of free speech. But to everyone watching, be you Republican, Libertarian, Conservative, Liberal, Democrat, Socialist, Communist, Green, Independent, you have to be clear on what you're reporting, and you have to be objective to everything. Even people that you respect, even politicians, be like, yeah, that's my guy or gal. You got to call them out when they do wrong. You just can't be a cheerleader and be like, well, I'm with them 100%. No. That's not how journalism works. So however you identify politically, that's your personal bias. And I get it. Look, I have my biases too. I'm not going to lie here and say, oh, I have my biases. But at the same time too, if I don't challenge my perspectives and points of view, if I don't challenge people that I do respect, I'm failing at my job at being a journalist. I'm failing at my job of doing my show. And you have to call out everyone. That's the idea of a free press. When there's corruption, when there's abuse of power, you have to call them out. Even if it's people you respect, you have to call them out.
Have to. Okay, nobody is above reproach. Everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions, for their words, okay, including the people in Congress that went there and said they were going to stand and fight for us, that are going to challenge leadership, that have not. We're constantly, again, I'm done with them at this point, because we know that they're not going to do it, and we have to either replace them. But even electoral politics isn't where it's at. Again, mutual aid and RBN calling out to mutual aid, helping the person next to you who needs help, is more important today than getting somebody elected to Congress. We've got to help the people next to us, because there's so many people today that need help. The cash apps, a third of the GoFundMe healthcare plan that a third of Americans are dealing with right now. It's disgraceful. And again, you guys are on the front lines fighting for all the right things to help everyday 99%er Americans. That again, you've got a sect in corporate media that's trying to gloss over, and again, set the parameters of what is acceptable conversation. Okay, talking about healthcare access, right? And again, changing the conversation, changing the narrative. No, healthcare for everyone. Again, Russia's so bad. Guess what? Russia gives healthcare to all their citizens. We don't. Mm-hmm. Putin's such a fascist dictator. Every Russian's got healthcare. Every Russian's going to school if they want to. I mean, they don't live in a communist utopia or anything like that. They live in a capitalist society as well at this point. I mean, ruled by oligarchs. Exactly like us. I mean, and there's no utopia there either. And the saber rattling has been really scary over the last couple months. Again, I want to shout out to Tara Reid, who has been beating the drum like crazy about what they're trying to do here, and the fact that they're calling, that they're trying to change the narrative to allow for some acceptable nuclear type of a strike whatsoever, and a preemptive nuclear strike. We've never been about anything like that. I mean, it's beyond disgraceful. Where we didn't even we caused this thing.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I seen somebody in the chat. Alex M, you're saying, unfortunately, there's not enough of us to make real change. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. I'm going to hold on to the audacity of hope. There's a lot of us out there. It's just not enough of us that woke up to it. But let me take the hit for hope. Let me get myself burnt by the flame of hope. There are a lot of us out there. It's just not enough people have woke up. Their alarms haven't woke up yet.
Mm-hmm.
There is. And so long as there is life, there is hope, Alex.
You're an optimist.
And so, and wait. The thing is, I know there's a lot of people that push back, well, you're full of shit, kid. And you know what? They're right too. But I gotta hold on to hope for something better. And I look forward to the day where I have to step aside, where people better than me are speaking truth to power, and people are leading the way for a better future. And what I'm going to do here, spoiler alert, season finale of The Great Life of Kid Cabello. As soon as I see all those good people, better people than me stepping up on that stage, I'm just going to say, hey, I got to take a piss, walk off the stage, and that's it. Because I know that the world will be in better hands. So there we go. That's
cool,
how
man.
it ends.
So I think that's probably a good place to say thank you and cut it for tonight. And again, this is not going to be the last time I talk to Kid Cabello. Kid is friends for life. He'll be back. We'll be doing this. We'll be doing streams on Indie News Network. We're going to be doing some more group and network streams and involving other networks like Hardlands, like RBN, like MCSC. And again, I thank you for coming on tonight. I loved learning a few things about you. I'm going to let you do some plugs, so go ahead. I'm going to give you the floor.
Alex M, you said you can be an optimist for me. Mine died years ago. And Mona said mine died last year. Don't give up. Okay? You too. That goes for everyone. I know things seem bleak. I know things seem dark. I agree with you. Man, there are days where I look at it where it is impossible. But don't give up. And you want to know why? Because people look at you too as well for hope. You must be that best. To everyone watching that wants to give up, I know it seems easy to give up on optimism. I know it seems easy to give up. But you can't. And I don't care what your political ideology is. We all, no matter what part of the world we live in, there's somebody like you that lives in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. Apologies. But there's even somebody like you that lives in different parts of this country as well. But there's someone that's like you that lives in different parts of the world as well. We have to push forward. If we give up now, we're giving up on those behind us. And the thing is, that next generation is going to be better than us. And if we want them to be better than us, then we got to fight for them. It might be the end for us, but it's not the end for them.
Nope.
If we give up now, what are we saying to them? Do we look at them straight in the eye and say like, oh, we just gave up? That's it. It was just too hard. Mona, Alex M, and everyone watching, I know you're stronger than this. I know you're better than this. And you don't need somebody like me, some jagoff to tell you that you're better, because I know you're better.
Of course.
Always do what is right. Never back down. And I know it seems tough. Look, there are days where I want to give up too, but I can't. When I go ahead and sit in front of that camera, I know I'm going to report some bad news. I'm going to be talking about some bad things, but there is hope. As long as there is life, there is always going to be hope. Don't back down. And don't be that person who says they wish they could have helped. And yes, those are words that Jen Buger said, but I'm going to take those words. And when I say them, fight.
They matter.
And fight harder than me and be better than me. So don't give up. Everyone watching, I know it's easy to give up. It's really easy to give up. but how stronger are you to stand tall and say no? So don't back down, okay? For me, don't back down.
And Kit's there fighting for you 7 days a week. I'm there fighting for you. Reef's there fighting for you. B's there. And look, there are people that are there that do this that are really they're lifers. Lee Camp, I got Tara. I mean, this is what we do is to call out the corruption, to call out the people at the top, at the quote unquote top that are making the decisions that are affecting our lives that aren't ever listening. Ed, get the volcano, love it. Okay, volcano party. Shout out to E Heller, Hardlens mod extraordinaire as well.
Yeah, shout out to E Heller. He made our website what it is. Edward, you're watching. You made our website what it is, man. Can't thank you enough, bro.
He's great peeps. So again, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We're gonna cut this up. We're gonna put it on podcast. We'll do some clips as well. Kit, again, just appreciate your time, appreciate the effort, appreciate your passion, appreciate you being in this space, your friendship, and we're gonna continue to fight this fight together every day and push it up the mountain every day. And solidarity, my friend, and have a great Saturday night, and everybody take care. Love you all, and we'll see you real soon. Have a great night.